For an immersive sound experience, please use headphones. I was dreaming. Or was it a nightmare? I stood in the streets naked. Everyone was staring at me. I was cold and alone. It felt like I was being followed. The street was dark. Shadows creeped in all around me. I was surrounded. I started to hear whispers coming from the dark. They started to get louder, and the whispers eventually became screaming. I could hear them yelling things like, "Freak of nature," "Fucking monster," "Pedophile." They started to get aggressive, but when they got close, their mouths weren't moving, but I can hear their words. It was their deep, judging eyes that sent me running. They took chase after me. A mob of hurtful thoughts and haunting gazes pushed me further. I eventually became cornered. They surrounded me once again as I fell to the ground and tried to scream. Nothing came out. It was like my voice was locked tight from fear. I started to cry as the voices became more intense. I kept mouthing them to stop as the tears rolled down my face, but my voice wasn't there. Why do they hate me? What did I do to make them this way? Won't someone please make them stop? The fear wore off enough to where I could whisper, but it wasn't enough. So I whispered, "God, please save me." What an intense dream. I sat still for a few moments to clear my head. Obviously, I've got some work to do mentally, but today is going to get really physical. I wasn't used to waking up in a big city. It all sounded so busy compared to my suburban mornings. All this traffic and people up at 6 a.m. I started to feel conflicted. I really missed my home, but I didn't want to go back. Not just yet. I need more time. In that moment, all of my past feelings came rushing back in. All the memories started to flood my mind like a raging river. How could the people I loved and cared for just turn their backs, treating me like I died? I started to bawl like a baby. I missed my mom, I missed my daughter. Why can't they see me? Memories of the town I grew up in, the friends I've made and graduated with. My daughter was born there, all the holidays, birthdays, funerals. It is my home, or was my home. I sunk even deeper into the pain. My cries drew the attention of my friends from the other room. They rushed in to see if I was okay, then sat next to me and started to talk me down. I was a mess. How can I hold a job if I can't even keep it together? She just wrapped her arm around me and said healing takes time. Then he spoke up and said, "All right, enough of this sappy shit. We've got a busy day and we are gonna be late." He was right. I needed a distraction, so I gathered myself and started getting ready. We walked out to his garage and got in his Mustang. He looked over at me and said, "Buckle up, Buttercup. I hope you don't mind spirited driving." I replied with a smile on my face and said, I may own a beater, but that doesn't mean I like to drive slow. We are running late, aren't we? He said, I'm so glad you said that. Then he stomped on the gas and my head got thrown back into the seat. He had a killer sound system and apparently loved hip-hop. It seemed like we were flying through traffic, weaving and bobbing in between cars. Despite him breaking almost a dozen laws, we still found traffic. We were almost 30 minutes late. I apologized about this morning. He just said, I'm okay with your healing, just don't let it affect our work, okay? We finally arrived and unloaded my tools from his trunk. I was definitely ready to get my hands dirty. Once we got set up, we got right to business. He started looking over floor plans, while I surveyed the rooms and started taking measurements. All the old plumbing was coming out. It was an older 3-story brownstone with galvanized water lines and cast iron drains. The new owners want a high-quality remodel, and we have an entire crew of professionals to get it done in a 2-week time period. From the flooring guys to the drywallers, the interior decorator, to the painter. They all treated me with professional courtesy, and I earned their respect regardless if I still had masculine tendencies. I really couldn't be bothered by those types of thoughts. I was using my skills and motivation to make me money. Days started to fly by, but the work was getting done. It was an amazing feeling to be part of a crew again, to put in quality work, and have some sense of purpose. The day has finally come. We worked some long hours, leaving me exhausted every night, but it was worth it. The job was done, and our entire crew really hit it out of the park. It was an honor working with such professionals, and I learned a lot along the way. My 2 weeks are up, and I'll be going home soon, but I'm leaving here with way more confidence. I know I can do this for a living. Now I just have to tackle my home life. Sunday morning came quicker than expected. We ate breakfast, got ready and packed the car. It was sad, but I had to leave. I'm not a freeloader, it's time to find my own way. I've spent some time with really kind-hearted people. They helped me stand on my own when the world kept knocking me down. I've made it through, and found that spark of life I was looking for. It's time to leave things in the past, and fix what's right in front of me. I used to be a victim, now, I'm a survivor. When we arrived back at my home, the snow had just started falling. I wanted them to get home safe, so I grabbed my bags and took them inside. I came back out to say my goodbyes, and hugged them both tight and said, thank you. I closed the door behind me, and greeted my fur babies. I turned around and double-locked my door, then I started to gaze out the window. I thought to myself, this is the first time in 2 weeks to where I am alone. With the snow falling, it reminded me of my family home. Mom always went overboard when it came to Christmas decorations. My house, however, felt bare and empty, haunted with the memories of the past. I need my mom, but I've barely kept in touch the past 2 years. I've kept her in the dark about everything. I know it was a mistake not telling her, but I was more afraid of her being ashamed of me. All the things I've done, all the things done to me. How could you love someone like me? I need to call her. I at least have to try. After a good night's rest, I made some food, then grabbed my phone. Thinking of the right words to say, my texts just didn't feel right. I started to pace the floor, eventually sitting down to a cold meal. Okay, full belly, Give me strength. I stood up and started pacing again. Why is this so hard? I have so much to say. Screw it. I'll just call her. I took a deep breath and started to dial. I'm so nervous. My hands are shaking. Was she going to hang up? Tell me to never call her?
Hello?
Hi, Mom. She answered, sounding concerned, and I didn't blame her. I assured her everything was all right, but I pushed through to ask her if we could talk. She said, yes, but I'm working on decorations though. Do you want to come over and help? I wasn't going to pass on this opportunity. Even if it ended badly, at least I get to see my mom. Once I got there, it was like a childhood dream come true. The house looked almost magical. Like Santa and his elves decorated it themselves. It felt good to be home. I really did miss this place. We didn't talk right away. We were too distracted with decorating. I noticed the snow outside was getting heavier, and my car wasn't the most reliable, so I mentioned that I should leave soon. She looks right at me and says, "You're staying for dinner." I didn't even question it. The kid in me came out and I said, "All right, Mom, I'll stay." I was actually relieved that she told me to stay. I was never a religious person, but I believe I found God in that moment. I thanked God for my mom and her gentle heart. Without her, I'd be lost. After dinner, we sat down for a little fireside chat. I started by apologizing for being so distant. I told her how much I missed her, and how I really missed my family. Once I expressed my regret, I let go of the lead and just let her talk. She told me how she misses her son, and when I was born how she always wanted a son. She started to cry, so I wrapped my arms around her and started to cry as well. With tears rolling down my face, I held her tight and said, "You didn't lose me. I'm still your child." All the memories, the emotions, and all the experiences are still here. We broke our embrace. She wipes the tears from her eyes and says, "I know, I just don't know what to do." I said, "That's easy, just think of me as the same old M&M, just with a different candy shell." We both had a laugh, then continued talking for another 2 hours. Towards the end of the night, she asked if I was coming for Christmas. I wasn't going to say no, that's for sure. Christmas morning has arrived. I sprung out of bed and quickly got ready, gave my fur babies their presents, grabbed the homemade cookies and gifts, then I zipped out the door. I was really excited. When I arrived, the house was already lit up. The bushes gave off a soft, colorful glow from under the snow. The front of the house looked like a scene from a Norman Rockwell painting. Mom really went all out this year. I walked in the front door and was punched in the face by the smell of freshly baked cinnamon rolls. I did my rounds and said hello to everyone, then we all sat down to eat before gifts. It's kind of a family tradition to nap after we unwrap our presents. I was so happy to be with my family. They made me feel safe and loved. We started our gift exchange. This year my brother was playing Santa. Mom pointed out a certain package, then told me to save it for last. Finally got to the last gift. Mom told me to open the card first. The front had my name on it. Inside the card read, "To my daughter." This was huge. I started crying. She came up and hugged me. She told me how much she loves me. Accompanying her card was a beautiful charm bracelet. She helped me put it on, and I just melted in her arms. My home was starting to feel like home again. With my family standing behind me, I feel like I can accomplish anything. I'm so glad I called. Thank you, Mom. I love you.